I'm Tiger Height, and I'm here to make WWE Raw and Pro Wrestling majestic again. I apologize for the delay on this video. I just finished Raw. I didn't watch it last night, so the show was good. And we're going to be kicking off with pretty much the biggest news coming out of Payback and Raw, even above the world title stuff, which is Jey Uso comes in through the crowd doing the stuff that interacts with Jey Uso, and it looks really, really good. Woo, Cody is going to have some competition as a top babyface here on Raw. You already had it with Seth, might as well have it here with Jey too. So Jey talks about what happened with the bloodline and why he's there on Raw and all of this, and out comes Sami Zayn, pretty much one of the biggest advocates for Jey getting out of the bloodline. And they actually have a good moment, good back and forth, all that nice stuff, but that led into the next match. Because there was an interaction here with Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre, and it really gives us almost an immediate hit that Jey Uso has to atone for his sins as he was in the bloodline. And two of them came out, Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle. Oh, and that segment there got a full thumbs up from me. I think it was a good introduction, and here we go for our first match. In a no disqualification tornado tag team match, Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle versus the Viking Raiders. This was a lot of fun. It was a lot of good action. The pacing was very, very nice too, and I was really worried about that because sometimes, especially with WWE, these no disqualification matches can be extremely hit or miss, and this one was pretty much a hit. Not out of the park, but it was definitely a hit. And despite what people thought, and I saw it on social media, the Viking Raiders winning was the right call. Because it looks like McIntyre is going to be transitioning into a pseudo-heel rivalry against the New Day. And based on the injury, the accidental injury, this is the right call. They're making a unfortunate situation there with Xavier Woods into a positive. Having Kofi Kingston try to help, but kicking Matt Riddle by accident, and then Riddle going through the table from Ragnarok. I liked it. There was a lot of good working parts and pieces here. It's keeping my attention, and it gets a full thumbs up. And trust me, the Viking Raiders needed this win a lot more than Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle. Seth Freakin Rollins segment. He is still the champion. He talks about it, and out comes Shinsuke Nakamura. And Rollins, because of the attack after the match at Payback, wants another crack at Shinsuke, even putting the title on the line, but Shinsuke says no. And people might be scratching their heads on why would you turn down another crack at the World Heavyweight Champion, because it's not on Shin's time, and I think that's actually a really good move. So Rollins got mad, he storms up to Shinsuke, and they have a brawl until Shinsuke got the advantage, attacking Seth Rollins back, but out comes Ricochet for the assistance. Which led into our next match where Shinsuke didn't even want the match in the first place between him and Ricochet. And this was a good match. I even liked the ending. Because once again, you're putting Ricochet in a main event slot. You have Shinsuke Nakamura, who you really want to put over as a heel main eventer, which I think is great. How do you do this? How do you not hurt any of these guys in this situation, because they're still somewhat fresh within this spot, especially on Raw? What you do is that you have a disqualification where it took Shinsuke Nakamura using a chair to take down Ricochet. Shinsuke is still top heel. You have Ricochet as a teaser possible top main event babyface here, and everything works. There was going to be a post-match further, but Seth Rollins attacking Shinsuke again and running him off. All of this really worked for me, and it gets a full thumbs up. Sometimes you just kind of have to wait and see what they do with this, and there were a lot of people complaining about that, but it's like, come on people, let's have some patience. They're trying to tell us a story. Let's enjoy the ride before we get to the conclusion. So up next was all members of Judgement Day out here, and out comes JD McDonough, because JD was quite involved within that tag title match, which I think was good. And for the token of appreciation, JD McDonough presents with a new Money in the Bank briefcase for Damian Priest. And people are like, oh, that was really fast that they had that up on the shop already. It's a company. They're here to make money, and you know that they're going to have these in production ready to rock and roll. I can almost guarantee you that they were mass producing this Money in the Bank briefcase even probably before Damian Priest won the briefcase in the first place. Then Sami Zayn comes out and challenges Dominic Mysterio, and we'll get to what happened when we get to the match itself. But I like this. It gets an Orange Cassidy thumbs up. Could have been done better, yeah. This is the second thing with Sami Zayn. It's there, it's fine, and JD is still not a member of Judgement Day, which is odd. So up next was Zoey Stark taking on Shayna Baszler. Shayna's momentum pretty much since beating Ronda has been snuffed out of existence. She needed to be on TV more for this to really work for me. And Zoey Stark just turning pseudo babyface is fine, but once again the crowd just wasn't really there yet. And yes, I saw the botch from the Z360. I thought they recovered well, so that's why I didn't want to bring it up, but I saw it, so I almost had my arm twisted on it. And I could definitely see people in the comments pointing out the botch, but I just snuffed it out of existence already. The match itself was fine. It was a Kira Fuda clutch for the win. Once again, Zoey Stark just turned babyface, excuse me. And then she loses. It was a competitive match. It was a very competitive match, and it wasn't a tap out, which I thought was good. But once again, rock in a hard place. Did WWE recover from it? I think it's still too early to tell with it. I want to see more, but with Raquel Rodriguez, we'll talk about that here actually in the next match, but it's kind of hard to say. So up next was Raquel Rodriguez versus Chelsea Green. So Piper Niven's, she's sick. She'll be out for a week or two. So the titles aren't cursed. Let's all calm down. But Chelsea Green losing again like this just does not make her look good. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Like, I can totally see why they did it. Because you have to put Raquel Rodriguez back on a main event caliber level within the women's division, and she has to be somebody with some sort of prominence. But why the title match next week? Why? Because now the question will be at that point, well, one, what was the point of the payback match? What was the point? I mean, where do you go after this? I don't think it would be a good idea for Rhea Ripley to lose this women's champion yet, but then Raquel loses twice. Very, very close. And then Dominic is banned from ringside, so it'll be almost definitive. But who's the next contender? Zoey Stark? She just turned babyface. Not a good idea. Shayna Baszler? She's a heel. I don't think that dynamic would really work. It was the Tijuana Bomb for the win. It was a match. I'm going to give it an Orange Cassidy thumbs down, and that's being nice. I'm not sure what they're doing here with the Miz segment, but out comes an invisible John Cena. It was a back and forth, I guess, between the Miz and this. I see the potential here where the Miz just continuously comes unraveled and unraveled, but I kind of wanted to see more of that presentation. Maybe he's growing a little bit of facial hair. Maybe his suit is kind of jarred. It was just awkward. Thumbs down. A rare thumbs down for a Miz promo. Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough. The third thing of Sami Zayn in this show. A lot of Sami Zayn. Not a big fan. But I did like this match. It was a fun match. Very competitive. I liked the back and forth. And they brought back JD McDonough's old theme song when he was in NXT UK. And that's a thumbs up. Nice and competitive. We have Dominic Mysterio's interference. People were hating on it, but that's good because he's a heel. And it was a roll-up with tights for the win. Sami Zayn didn't look weak. JD McDonough picks up a win, so he looks good. And then we had some shenanigans after the match where JD helps Dominic because Sami Zayn was attacking him, but Dominic does not help JD McDonough when Sami Zayn is attacking JD McDonough. I like the match. It gets an Orange Cassidy thumbs up. Main event for the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther versus Chad Gable, and if Gunther retained, he will surpass Honky Tonk Man's reign as the longest Intercontinental Champion singular reign of all time. This was a very, very good match. Jesus Christ, people are behind Gable. If Gable does not beat Gunther at some point in time, they're making a mistake. I don't think it was time. It was definitely not time, even though Chad Gable's family was there. It's actually now going to add another wrinkle because one of his daughters cried. I know, kind of morbid, but it's actually going to be a fairly big benefit because this place is going to come unglued when Chad Gable beats Gunther. A super great competitive match, and it was a lariat for the win. This gets 2 thumbs up. This was a great match. Go out of your way and watch this match. And that was Raw. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below or right over here. And as always, be majestic.